Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be using this Mojo Monday sketch, and I got this off of Pinterest, and I want to say that Christy Marcotte is the one who used it in one of her 6x6 videos. If you guys haven't checked her out, definitely do. I enjoy watching them and seeing how she uses the entire 6x6 paper pad in one setting. So we're going to continue on with the Kaisercraft Breathe, and I was just pointing out that I had the sketch over here on the right. And since the kind of the centerpiece was rounded edges, I decided let's round all the edges and just make it a rounded card. So I'm going to do that, and then all of the extra pieces, if they were the same size, I would just put them together and go around all four at once. But since the one is smaller than the other, it was just better to go one at a time. And I'm just fixing my edges on the pattern paper because with Kaisercraft, I notice it's such a thin paper. Whenever I cut with my cutter, I always get little fuzzies. So I always clean it up and then put the tape down and add some of my art glitter glue. And then we're going to go ahead and get this on. And it was a little, did I have to take this one off? No, that one I did fine. Okay. And then we're going to put some more tape down and more art glitter glue to give us time. I think on here, I wind up putting it down and then I had to lift up the top a little bit because it was just a little bit too far, see? And because of that wet glue, it gave me that time to be able to lift it right back up and readjust. Okay, and then this one here, I'm going to fix my edges and do the corners as well. And I'm using the 1/2 inch side on the chomper. I like the 1/4 inch, but it's a much thinner rounded corner. And unless you're going for that actual look, it's not my favorite. So I very rarely use it. All right, so we're done with that. And we're going to finish putting these together. And then I definitely, I don't know, I like how the rounded edges look. I always forget that we have these tools because there's a lot of those different chompers really that do like the ticket stub. I think one does like the Art Deco. There's different, corners that you can make, and you could do that with all your cards. You know what I mean? And I might have to pull those out because it's been a long time since I used them. Okay, so on this bottom piece here, I'm going to use some of the Love from Lizzie peel-offs. And the best part is with this particular piece, I can use one strip and get it around on each side. And then I'm going to take a super thin one and put it right above or below this one and then above the bottom one. And you'll see on the card I did before the video, I used different peel-offs and I really didn't like them. So that's why I went to the mirrored blue, because I think that it matches kind of like the bluish tone in the paper that we're using. Sort of like that, that smoky blue, like a gray blue. And then this strip here is actually white glitter paper. And it's from a glitter paper pack that I got from Concord and Ninth. And then for our focal image, I'm going to do the 3 stamping thing with the Stormy Sky. I think I did it on a card not too long ago. It's probably one of my favorite techniques is to stamp and then stamp off again and one last time. And it creates like a little cluster. All right, we're going to attach that piece. So every layer has a mat, and it just gives it a little bit more oomph. And on this one, I think I'm going to use one of my pre-done up sentiments. On the other card I made, I stamped on the centerpiece, which is fine. It's going to be a good way to show you can do it either way. So if you don't have the tailored expression strips, then you can still use your own stamps and just stamp right on the focal image, or create your own little strip or sentiment. So I was going to take this one straight down, and then I was like, oh no, let me use, because I still have the Darice thin strips, and so I decided to pull one off, and it definitely isn't as thick as the Tailored Expressions one, but I was fighting with, so I just threw it into the trash bin because it was getting on my nerves. But once I get it laid down, it gives it a little bit of height, and then we're going to use the vintage drops from Nuvo. And I will say, after I did it, the vintage drops must be a slightly different makeup, because after I tapped them and they started to dry, they started to morph a little bit. So I think on this one, don't tap it. If you put the enamel the drops down with this, however you shape it, just leave it, because it just, you trust me, it'll be better that way. Because I wound up trying to fix it with my thin pin, and it didn't go well. So I'm glad I got good pictures before, because the after I may have to figure out something else to fix them. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button, and definitely leave comments down below. I love reading them, and I try to respond to everybody, and I do appreciate you guys watching. And oh, don't forget to hit the little bell so that way you get alerted whenever I upload new content. Okay, thanks again, and I hope you have a great weekend.